Lessons guys, Alex Angela with you. Welcome to my channel and my page. And again, of course, this is the end of the week when I get to have some available time to make another spiritual content for you. And as you know, again, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Alex Angela. I'm a spiritual life coach and astrologer, and I use esoterical knowledge in my practices, my life coaching practice, in order to be able to provide the most insightful guidance and help the people to understand the certain situations and the certain scenarios that they go through in their life and why it happens. And of course, hopefully giving you some sort of advice or recommendations about how to change certain scenarios that we happen to have in our life. So today's subject is going to be very interesting because this is actually going to touch a lot of us, a lot of you, and as well as it actually touches me personally as well, because as I usually say in my content, I try to actually give you an example of the experiences that I had in my life and what I learned from those experiences, and also how those experiences consequently changed me and changed my life, or still changing me. Again, as I told you, I don't believe that when a person gets to a point of having progress, then he should or she should stop there. I think that while we're living, we're evolving, because the life is not a destination, life is a process. So today's subject is going to be very relevant, I think, for a lot of us, because sometimes we know that going through the life scenarios or going through the life situations, we may numerous times encounter the same kind of repetitive situations or consistently happening situations in our life that goes on and on and on. And a lot of people at this point may not know why the situation's happening. They may not know, may not understand why actually am I attracting the same kind of situation that keeps happening to me over and over again, thinking that actually we might take some sort of experiences or an example from the previous situation that we have encountered, and that next time we're going to be like kind of smarter, next time we're going to be like kind of more open-minded and more aware of ourselves. But then at the end of the day, after some time, you can still witness the same kind of situation or the same kind of very relevant coincidences, I would even say at some point, even though I don't believe in coincidences, keep on happening to you. For example, attracting the same kind of relationship, attracting the same kind of partners, or ending up again in the same sort of situations that you've ended up before, even though you made a promise to yourself that next time you're going to be smarter, next time you're going to be more aware of it, and next time you will try to change the cycle. But why the cycle keeps happening? Number one reason why this cycle keeps happening is because it is the lesson, and the lesson must be learned, and the experience must be digested, I would say, at some point, analyzed, and then afterwards, of course, at this point when you're ready to realize what this lesson means for you and what this lesson carries for you, you might actually see the situations shifting. You might see that your life energy is shifting and everything around you is changing, and nothing is happening the same way that it was happening before, and you start noticing that those repetitive situations are no longer happening in your life. So number one thing is the karmic lesson that we usually have. That we need to learn, that our soul needs to learn. And of course, as you know, we're in this world because we're trying to evolve our soul, we're trying to evolve ourselves, and spiritually and mentally, in all other possible ways, of course. The number two thing is also might be deeply related to your subconscious mind and to the programs that are stuck in your subconscious mind. This can come from your childhood background experiences, as well as from the situations or traumatic situations that you might have at some point faced with in your life, and somehow those situations or the emotions that you actually get from those situations might have turned into the comfort zone for you. But where the comfort zone is coming from, this is also another interesting thing. The comfort zone is, of course, not what it sounds like. The comfort zone is in fact a very bad thing. It's not a really good thing, as long as the comfort zone is consisting on the negative experiences. Let's say that again. We might, as I just gave you an example, we might just face with a lot of situations in our life that, keep on happening, the same negative situations in our life that keep on happening. And, that's kind of becoming a comfort zone at some point when we get used to that. And then when something different happens, when something positive happens, we just subconsciously do not know how to react to that, because we're not used to this. But let's say that if you've been in a toxic relationship with your partners or with your partner in the past, then meeting a healthy relationship and getting used to a healthy relationship may not be that easy, because your comfort zone is not ready for that. Your comfort zone doesn't understand how to react to that. Your brain doesn't understand how to react to that. Like, in your opinion, in your comfort zone, the relationship is coming from the toxicity, right? Let's say that the comfort zone has become the toxic relationship, and all of a sudden you meet somebody that is really into you, and you actually feel that there is a very strong chemistry and connection between you two, for example. But still, at some point, you don't know how to react to this. And at this point, what happens is that we get our conscious mind and subconscious mind get a bit shocked, because we don't know how to behave in those situations or how to behave in those kind of relationships. So this is deeply coming from two main aspects of our subconscious mind and the role of our subconscious mind, again, considering what kind of experiences we might have had in our past experiences or even in our childhood. So today we're going to talk about the sense of victim and also a leader mentality. So the world mainly consists of these two: the victim mentality people and the leadership mentality people, or leaders and victims. So I want you now to take a second and ask yourself, are you the type of person who is letting the life happen to you, or are you the type of person who's trying to take initiative and start living the life that you want to live by taking even the smallest steps? Because this question will help you to understand in which category you're most likely to fit in. So let's say that if you are type of a person who is living the life day to day and who is letting the life happen to them and then just trying to figure out what to do in those situations, you might most likely be in the victim mentality. Why? Because let me explain it to you. The victim mentality is usually the ones that we're the people that are actually used to facing or dealing with a lot of difficulties in their life, right? And then when something happens, when something positive comes along, again, they don't know how to really react to this. It's because what happens is that we have been so used to actually, to all those negative experiences that we somehow felt, that we somehow experienced, then at the end of the day, it can be difficult for us to actually take the initiative of the leadership, because we might have this little fear somewhere deep down inside of our heart or inside of our subconscious mind, because we're just simply not used to that. And it's nothing really bad. At this point, again, it's not your fault. It's just all the experiences that you might have had in your childhood. Maybe the household wasn't good. Maybe the people that you were surrounded by were also of the victim mentality. And usually, as a part of the society, we are the people that will look up at those people who are mentors for us, and we take their kind of features and we follow their path. So let's say that if the parents were more of a victim mentality and also having a very low vibrations in the family, have very low vibrations in terms of the sense of the life and happiness. And if you've always been told that life is not easy, life is really difficult, life is full of challenges, and you have to be ready for that, which is, again, this is a part of the reality. But the thing is this, you see, at this point, we've already been programmed to understand and comprehend life as not something easy, but something difficult and complicated. And we may fall into that little trap of a victim mentality at this point, expecting that all my life that I'm going to be living, I'm going to be facing with difficulties and challenges, and the life is not about being happy, and the life is not about finding the joyful moments, but about just to get over the challenges and complications and just fighting all the time. So this may sound like a leadership mentality, but not. In fact, this is the victim mentality thing. So if you are scared of taking initiative in life, if you're not really ready, or feel like you're not ready, or you're not confident enough to take the initiative in your life to start changing that, then you might somehow subconsciously be stuck in that victim mentality. And again, it's not your fault really, because we usually look at our surrounding, and the society has a very strong impact on us, even though we may not notice it, but subconsciously it does, because we know that subconscious basically is the collective mind. So when we find ourselves, when we answer to that little question that I just asked you, am I the one to let the life lead me, or am I the one to lead my life? And once you are going to be very honest with yourself with an answer, then you can understand actually where you can start changing that. And if that's possible, and the other question might be whether it is possible to do it or not. Yes, definitely it is possible. Psychologists usually try to do this through the therapies, or other, psychological, let's say that techniques and etc. Spiritualists like myself, spiritual life coach, we use and spirituality and psychology at some point in order to be able to help the person to come out of that comfort zone of victim mentality and then just start building their life again step by step. No one expects you to just wake up one day and just completely change everything cold turkey. It might be possible, but for a very little number of people, because again, something that's been building up in your subconscious mind for years cannot be changed within a day. So you might, of course, need to put a little bit more effort into this and a lot of hard work into this in order to be able to come out of that, victim mentality comfort zone, I would say that. So, if you answered the question earlier that I asked you, that if you are a type of a person who lets life happening to you, and you might feel like, oh, you know what, I'm actually quite comfortable with this, so I'm just living my everyday life and just, taking whatever is coming along and just going with it. At this point, you might miss one very big point in this situation, is that life is not eternal, as you know, and the time is very precious. So once you understand this, your first step should be to understand, what can I do in order to change this? What kind of actions can I take, actually, even if they're the slightest actions, in order to be able to get rid of this victim mentality and switch myself into the leadership mentality, right? We're gonna go to the leadership mentality description a bit later, but my point is this: like, if you find yourself following the life rules and not living by your own rules, by your own reality that actually exists, remember, there's only one reality, and that reality is your reality. The world, the life can be so different for each of us. Let's say that we have our inner world and our views of life, and you have your own truth, you have your own reality, and the purpose in this life is to create that reality, is to live that reality, is actually to create your real comfort, not the comfort zone, but the comfort where you will be able to move forward with your goals without wasting any time and eventually being able to achieve those goals that you want. But when you're in a victim mentality, unfortunately, a lot of times those desires or those goals that we have on the back of our mind, or that version of ourselves that we want to see a successful one, is usually being left unachieved because of the comfort zone of victim mentality. We might think about it, we might think we want to be that better version of ourselves, and that is just we see in our subconscious mind, but at the same time we might not know how to take the actions. And even if we do, and we fail a couple of times, and then we're like giving up and saying, okay, probably it's not meant to be. No, it's not about it's not meant to be. Just like everything else, being able to come out of the victim mentality requires two important things: discipline and the consistency. And you know that in my previous videos, I've spoken a lot of times about the discipline and the consistency. And if you are willing to put a little bit of effort and put these two aspects of the discipline and the consistency into hard work, into work on yourself, then trust me, you will eventually be able to come out of the victim mentality, which is, again, may not be your fault, but that might be just a subconscious programming that you've been living all your life, all your childhood, and eventually what you're doing is that you are just following the same steps. So how can you do this? The first thing is that even if you try to live your life, and if you try to understand, and if you understand that you are actually living in a victim mentality life, and then you want to come out of this, you should not be giving up just because you tried once or twice and it didn't work out and you failed, and then say, oh, it was not meant to be. No. Because again, don't forget, just at the beginning of my video, I said that certain situations will keep on happening to you as a karmic lesson, try to test you whether you are about to give up again, or whether you are actually resistant. You become more disciplined and you become more consistent with your life and with your goals and with your actions. Because what happens is that the first thing that we have to have on the back of our mind in order to leave the victim mentality is the intention. The intention should be very strong. Yes, I realize that probably I'm not living my life, or I'm not living the life that I want to live, but I am willing to change it. I'm willing to take actions, even the smallest actions. How you can do this? By doing very easy things for yourself. Let me just give you an example of it. You can get one of these little notes, right? I'm just giving you one of the easiest techniques that you can use, as I use in life coaching. So what I want you to do, I want you to start writing down at least 3 things a day that you would like to improve about yourself. And those things should be necessarily regarding to yourself and not in your relationship. For example, if you feel like your life routine is very gray and black and white and there's nothing exciting happening, I want you to write down, like, okay, starting the gym. I go to the gym and write down like 3 times or 2 times a week. Don't overwhelm yourself, because again, that way it might be it might get even more difficult for you to be able to come out of the victim mentality. So write it down. I'm gonna go to the gym twice, 2 or 3 times a week, let's say. The second thing, do something that you never done before. Let's say that if you're a hardworking person and if your life is so busy that you just keep on going to work and just doing your things, but again, you might find like, oh, you're caught up in this routine and you can't do anything in your life in order to change it or bring the excitement into it. Write down like once in 2 weeks, I'm going to places that I've never been. For example, it can be museums, it can be some sort of social activity places, it can be some sort of events, something that would push you out of your comfort zone, where actually you are taking action and you are taking the responsibility for that day, and you don't let the life on that day happen to you, but like you are taking the responsibility for that day and you are pushing yourself slightly out of the comfort zone and going to different places. So how it helps you is like, first of all, by going to different places, you're going to find different people with different kind of energies and vibrations, as we spoke about this, and the vibrations and energies are very important, right? So let's say that if you keep on going to the bar, to your local bar every weekend, instead of doing this, just put for yourself like as a third thing, or the second mission is like once in 2 weeks I'm going to the places I've never been before. Even though it may be like you may not find it interesting at the beginning, but the reason why we're doing this is just we're pushing ourselves to make the first step to get out of the comfort zone. And that's an important step. You may find it like, oh, you know what, it's just a basic thing, I can do this. No, but the more important thing is to turn it into consistency, so that by adding those 3 little missions, right, within a month to every other week or every week, if you can, what you're doing is that you're stepping out of the comfort zone, and consequently you're stepping out of the victim mentality, and actually you're taking actions to take over your life in terms of that, and to actually build the life that you want to build yourself. Or for example, you could be a lot into sport, but you may not have time to go to the sports or to go to the different kind of matches. So you might also put it down in there like attending some sort of match or sport event maybe once or twice a week that you might have not done before. So what it does is that, again, of course, it creates those new neurons in your brain, and those new neurons actually start kind of helping you with your dopamine level, and you're gonna notice how actually keeping up at least a month with this consistent but little steps, you will see the shift in your energy. You will see the shift that, okay, wow, if I was able to do those little steps, then what is stopping me to make even bigger steps, right? And then you can add other kind of options for yourself that you want to achieve, and the other things that may lead you to becoming that better version of yourself, of a leader mentality, not a victim mentality. So this is a very, very easy step. Again, as I told you, just writing down 3 little things over here that you can do every other week, even if you cannot do this a week, and those things should not be really requiring a lot of money from you, a lot of resources. Just doing something, going to places, meeting people that you've never spoken before, or that you've never been, let's say, that fit in before. This will help you to push you out of your comfort zone. But again, the most important thing you have to remember about this is the sense of intention, discipline, and the consistency. So when it comes to the leadership mentality, it's actually much easier, because the leadership mentality, you also, just like the victim mentality, coming from the childhood, but at this point, some people may have a better childhood or a household at this point, and their parents might be much more kind of, I would say that matured, or much more spiritual or psychologically advanced, and they might actually understand how it works, and they might just put this leadership mentality into their kid by helping them achieve those things. And when those children grow up, they usually tend to be leaders, because they already have that sense of confidence sitting in them. So the leadership mentality belongs to those category of people who do not live the life, and who do not follow the rules of the life, but create their own rules and their own reality. And they are not scared of pushing out of the comfort zone, because they know that they can do this, that they can change things, because they already have that sense of the confidence in themselves. So it's easier kind of for leaders, for the people with leadership mentality, than for the people of victim mentality. And that's the point of this video today, is like how to leave the comfort zone of the victim mentality and switch to the leadership mentality. Leaders are usually the people who are not scared. Even if they're scared, they still move towards their fears, and in order to be able to get over those fears, because we know that comfort zone is nothing more than a fear. We have that invisible wall in our subconscious mind, and then we think, oh my god, how am I supposed to do this? And we can even get to the point of anxiety when we start doing something that we're not used to it. But that is exactly what the comfort zone is. And the leaders are usually trying to create more productive comfort zone. Like, for example, they write down their plans and they keep on pushing, they keep on moving towards their goals confidently. So what they're doing is that they understand that it's just a matter of the fear. It's just a matter of consistency and the discipline. And once they keep up with this, then they are going to be able eventually to get to the point that they want to get to. So again, as I told you, this is like two category of people that the world really consists of: victim mentality people and the leadership mentality people. And again, there can be different circumstances under which you may find yourself being in one or the other category. And that's why I'm telling you that there should be no sense of a shame, self-shame, or the sense of a guilt. It is normal, and the video is intended actually to be able to help you to push yourself a little bit through that little wall of a fear, so that you can eventually start creating your own reality, start creating that life that belongs to you, start making another step closer to that version of yourself that you keep on the back of your mind and you think and dream about all the time. And guess what? It is all possible. While we are all alive and living in this world, every day is a possibility, and that's what I keep on repeating in all my videos. And do not fear of unknown. Sometimes unknown is exactly that door that can open up for you so many opportunities that can help you live your life and create the better version of yourself, literally. So if you answer that question that I asked you at the beginning of my video, that you still fit into the victim mentality people, do not worry about this, because you can change it. And that's the purpose of this video, for you to explain to you that you can change it. Because guess what? Me, myself, I was once in the victim mentality. I'm still working on it. I'm still pushing myself through. I'm still doing my things. And that's why I'm sharing all my experiences in my videos with you, trying to give you an example that it is possible. And no, I mean, like, to be honest with you, I don't wake up like at 5 a.m. in the morning. I don't go to the at 4 a.m. in the morning and do my yoga and then do my gym. No, I live my own reality. I create my own reality. And I do things that work for me. And just like I spoke about in one of my previous videos, if somebody, you can watch in the Instagram reels that, oh, you know, I wake up every morning at 4 a.m. and doing this and doing that, doing this and doing that, and my life and my day is fulfilled perfectly well. This can really work for them, but it doesn't mean it should be your reality, because at this point, again, you are following somebody else's cliche. You can definitely take their theory and turn it into your own practice. And at this point, trust me, you're going to live a much more genuine life. So even if you find that you do belong to that victim mentality of people, do not fear, do not feel shame, do not feel like kind of, oh, you know, so what is it? I'm just probably gonna live my life for the rest of my life this way. No, you can change it. And if you want to, little steps, not even big steps, little steps are always paving the way for bigger changes. Remember that. I hope that, guys, you found this video at some point helpful for you. And if you happen to have any questions, feel free to leave your comment underneath, and also feel free to share with your experiences about the life and about the leadership or victim mentality, let's say, that people, and how you came out of this, if you're struggling with this, and how you're working with this, and what are your plans or techniques of actually leaving your comfort zone and becoming the better version of yourselves. And also, if you found this video useful, please feel free to like the video and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more spiritual life coaching techniques. Stay blessed.